Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Caught Lookin. My name is Kelsey, and I am normally a contributor, but I will be hosting tonight for a very special episode so that Meg can have an evening off. Joining me today are Mary, Sarah, and Allie. And for our special All-Star Break episode, we are covering the Minnesota and the Miami series and giving some of our predictions moving forward for what you could call the quote second half of the season, even though we are technically over halfway through. I think we've played like 97 games, something like that. So,
Yeah.
not quite a halfway mark, but it's a great ending point for us to kind of discuss what has happened to us, the trauma that we have endured, and how we've come out of it. The first thing I wanted to mention was that we were 39 and 33 with a half game lead over the White Sox in the American League Central when the game occurred where we lost everybody
The
against
game.
Terry Skubal. The
When the
game.
game of nightmares occurred.
So if everyone doesn't remember, which I'm sure you do, we lost Jose, we lost Angel, and we lost Chase, which were at the time our 1, 2, 3 hitters, all going out in one game around the same time. Now we are 51 and 46, and technically, I think, tied with the White Sox for first place. So if you look back at that day and predict what was going to happen, I think you can say we went 12 and 13 in the 25 games since that game. And we have an easy schedule to play afterwards, I believe. So honestly, this was like the bare minimum for me to be happy, content. I don't know what you guys think.
Right. Well, when that game
Oh
of
my God.
death when that game of death happened, like my initial thought was like just keep the lead somewhat close in the division. I was like just don't fall behind like maybe 3 or 4 games. And so even though we went what you said 12 and 13 during that
Mhm.
stretch, I feel like it would have been a lot worse if we were not in the AL Central. But
Yeah.
since we are, I think we did well with what we had, honestly, and so I'll take that. I will definitely take being tied with first place, especially coming off a sweep and a 4 game win streak. Chase is hot, Quan is hot, Jose and Angel are coming back. So right now everything kind of seems to be falling into place, which is very encouraging. But yeah, it was a rough stretch that time without Jose, Angel, and Chase. It was rough, but I mean we like I said, we did the best with what we had, and so it's we're all right.
I like that we're calling that game the game of death because
Yeah.
wow, really that's what it felt like. After that happened, I told myself that even though it would not at all be fun to watch, I would be comfortable if they managed to win one game in every series until Jose came back. And I knew that that would probably put them in a hole within the division, but I think it would be a small enough hole that I feel comfortable with him in the lineup. We could overcome that deficit by the end of the season and still win the division. And they outperformed that. They did better than that. They won a couple series in that time. Chase coming back as quickly as he did was really helpful, and it kind of looks like that time off helped reset him, and he's been playing great. So I really don't think I have complaints about that at all. Like they're in a better spot than I expected them to be after that game of death. And it's hard to not feel good coming out or going into the All-Star break in the spot we're in. The sweep helps to be tied for the division lead, knowing that you still have Jose Ramirez and Angel Martinez to add to the lineup. I think that's exciting. No, I think I'm a lot more optimistic now than I was then, so that's cool.
I agree. I think at one
I think so
point
too.
too, I was starting to get more worried about the Twins catching up to us other than the White Sox.
I had
Because I
that
know
worry for
like
like a
we've been neck and
24
neck
hour
with them.
period.
We've been neck and neck with the White Sox for a couple weeks now. And so then it's like the Twins have just slowly crept up. And I'm like, okay, so at least like we're tied with the White Sox here, but like we can't let the Twins come up and fall behind a third. So that was stressing me out a little bit,
I
but
also
they
want to
are currently three
nitpick.
games behind, so I think
Yeah.
it's
Oh, thank
looking
God.
okay right now.
I'm
Hmm.
gonna nitpick something you said, Sarah, because you did mention that this happened because we are in the AL Central. I think it's just the AL in general
That
because
I
the AL
literally had
West is
that pulled
bad.
up. The
Yeah,
AL West is actually worse.
is worse.
Oh,
And
whoa.
so the AL as a whole is like not doing so hot right now, but we don't even have to play the AL Central as weak card because it could be worse. Like we'd still be winning the AL West, would we not?
Yes.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
Rangers
Maybe
are
it's
49 and 47, and they're
maybe it's
leading the AL
just
West.
maybe it's just that the American League isn't as hot. That's all it is.
It's absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at even like the National League East, I mean, the Braves are 55 and 40, so their percentage is like 579. And then, it's like the Brewers and the Dodgers really blasting everybody. So, if
Well, and
anything,
we
it's
did
just
in fact
everyone's
just
kind of
sweep an
mid.
NL team, so you're welcome, rest of the AL, for doing that.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I just really I can't remember. I could probably go back to my episode after that game and hear myself and my thoughts, but I definitely think I've been placated, and the Guardians have contented me enough that they will not be hearing from my Twitter account this All-Star break or anything. Um, Mary, I didn't know, we didn't really give you a chance to like give deep thoughts about it if you had something else that you wanted to say about it.
I just about like everything since especially like okay especially since like the game of death. I basically normally I try to have like a glass half full about like everything in general. I was very, 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 very nervous and I didn't know like what to think. And but all I kept thinking was, or other than that, otherwise I just kept thinking, Jose's come back from injury before and he's outperformed. And he had been kind of slumping per Jose, not actually slumping comparatively to other players. And all I
Hmm.
kept thinking is like once he gets out of this, because he seems like pretty like cocksure, and he's also dealt with this exact injury before, I have like a better feeling. And it seemed like, yeah, we struggled at the beginning of before, like right after the game of death happened, but like it seemed like people gave a shit, which was a huge part. Like their team didn't just give up. Even if it felt like there were times where they did, I don't think they actually gave up at all. I think they actually just were really, really struggling and they worked through it. And now they're at a good point, and I think they're at a even better point for whenever those guys get back, because we even got Chase, obviously we got Chase back. And I think it's just gonna build more momentum. So
Yeah,
it started out with, yeah.
it was definitely a transitional point. That first like week or two after everyone went down because you did see a lot of lineup shuffles, especially with like leadoff
Right.
and like the nine spot particularly. So like
Mhm.
you can tell like they were trying a lot of different things. They were experimenting a lot. And so now I think with the past couple of series, they've kind of found something that clicks a little bit.
Mhm.
And talking about Jose too, I feel like he's probably just rearing to go. He's probably so
Oh,
ready to come back,
I was gonna
especially
say he
since we've
percent.
probably
kind of
feels
had that
great.
surge.
He
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
feels very rested. These guys get
Yeah.
like an off
Hmm.
season, but they work a lot and train a lot. So just having to be forced to rest and hang out. I know he probably hated it, but spending time with his family and like, these people, they're real
Newborn.
guys, they're real people with families and stuff. So it probably feels nice that he got a break, even if it was forced. Like he's probably gonna
Right.
feel a little bit better once he can finally dive back in.
And
Right.
just
And I'm going to
how they
temper my
were.
expectations with him too a little bit. I don't expect him to come out
Yeah.
swinging the ball like prime Jose Ramirez, but like
I'll hope for
again, I
it.
wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't come back super strong, but yeah, we'll see. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at his
Especially,
stats, Jose has 10 home runs and Kyle Manzardo has 10 home runs. And then the two leaders are Chase DeLauder and Angel with 11. And
hmm
Angel's also gone. So it's like slumping per Jose standards completely. I think everyone would agree that he was maybe not looking like himself, but it is
yes.
crazy that it's been like a complete return to guards ball with his departure, because how is he still like almost him and Angel still almost the home run leaders and they haven't been playing for 25 games.
Somehow
I,
clubbing together like 3 or 4 runs on 5 hits.
oh my God. I do love that they've been around though. Like I don't expect any less from either of them. But like just seeing Angel and Jose just around everybody and hearing how him being back in the locker room has been like wonderful and all that stuff is just nice to hear.
Yeah, it's nice because he's kind of like and, a veteran and an older guy on the team. So it's like Jose's always seemed like a mentor and stuff to me, but he was a newer player at one point. So I
Right.
think he just fits super well into being a veteran, if that makes sense. Like everyone
Right.
that has come up under him, you can see the Jose sprinkled into like every player that has done well in the organization since he's become kind of a more seasoned player. And that's
Hmm.
why it's like I'm excited for Angel to come back and that they're kind of on similar trajectories because it's like father and son coming back,
Yeah.
like the prodigy coming back with his mentor. But I did write down that Angel was actually taking batting practice 4 days ago, like live batting practice. But Jose, I think the last information we got is he was hitting off of a tee. So he's expected to take live BP again at some point. And then they said that he will return shortly after the All-Star break, in
Hmm.
quotes. So,
I think when I saw last his estimated return date was I think like July 24th, which I think is a week after the
mm,
All-Star break ends. So he's probably not going to come back like as soon as we start our
yeah,
next series with the Pirates. I feel like it's
Right.
probably going to be at least another week after that.
that seems
Just to
soon for
be
me.
100% certain that he's ready because you
Right.
absolutely do not want to rush him back.
Well, that's one thing with Chase that really freaked me out because he has had so many issues in the past. I mean, it was like I was begging for crumbs, so I was happy that he came back. But now that I look back on it, it's kind of like, oh man, I hope that he didn't try to push himself too hard. But it seems that he has kind of settled in a little bit more. I mean, I had to update my stats actually because I was writing them during the game, and they both, Rokio and Chase, both had RBIs while I was watching. So Chase has 46 RBIs, which is the team leader. But wouldn't you know that Rokio is right behind with 44? But Rokio actually is the hits leader with 88. So
That's
he's
my guy.
yeah,
Wow.
I mean, not to dog on Sarah, but I didn't hear her mention that Rokio was really pulling a lot of the line. Well, she said Travis Bazana was kind of pulling the line a little bit, but you got to respect my goat and throw in Rokio because he flies under the radar. That's the thing is like he's so he doesn't like speak a lot or he doesn't have like a whole buzz as much. Like Chase will do a different bat flip every time he hits a home run and it gets like clipped and stuff. But Rokio, he has his funny sunglasses, but he just flies under the radar. But he has actually been carrying the frick out of this team. And I feel like we all probably owe him an apology because I could go back to last year's season and probably clip 3 to 5 minutes of me saying something mean about Rokio. I
I do apologize for omitting him. It
yeah.
definitely it was not intentional, no, and I even realized that like shortly after I finished.
No,
I was like, "Oh shit, I forgot to mention
I was
Rokio."
just
Hey, girl, you and the All-Star game
poking.
have that in common, so at least
Oh,
you're
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I never if you asked me at the start of the season like who are we sending to the All-Star game? I and Jose was like not on that list.
Or
I and
Quan.
Stephen
Or
Kwan was not on that
Quan.
list. Yeah, it would really freak me out. But
I would have seen
I
Bizana and been absolutely ecstatic though,
yeah,
because
that's the
I
thing is
would
like
have
I'm
thought he
excited.
wouldn't even have been called up by now, to be honest.
Hmm.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So no complaints.
Yeah. I do think that it's cool to send some younger guys. I don't really know how I feel about the All-Star game. Every year I'm kind of like, it's super silly. But then I watch it and I do kind of have a good time. And, they get their little interviews and little moments to talk more about the season. So I'm excited to see like the press that comes with the All-Star game and the extra people that get to talk to them kind of outside of game time.
Is it bad that I literally don't watch the All-Star game? Like I'll watch the
No.
home run derby because that's fun and I'll watch like the interviews on social media and stuff, but when it comes to the actual All-Star game, like I could not care less to be honest with you, unless like our guys were playing.
Yeah,
Obviously, I'll watch for them and then I'll turn it off.
I watch because I want to see our guys prove that they deserve to be there because it does feel like a lot of the okay, I, maybe I'm just making stuff up, but I mean, we very rarely have players make it in through the fan vote. It's a popularity contest and we're a small market team, so that's whatever. But I do feel like the guys that we send through player voting or through injury replacements or whatever tend to perform very well. Like we've never sent a guy to the All-Star game and embarrassed ourselves with his presence there. And I watched because I like seeing that. But yeah, other than that, and when the host of the World Series depended on the All-Star game, then I
Oh
really, really
yeah.
tuned in. They took that away, and now it's kind of like, I care to see our players play, and that's it.
Yeah,
I
because you
like
know that
it.
they actually got there based on merit and not just the
Hmm.
fan vote because we're a
Yeah.
small market team. So yeah, that is why they always tend to be very good.
Hmm.
I like it. It's nostalgia for me. I remember watching it as a kid, even like whether I was really into baseball or not, I always just watch it and be like, hey, that's our guys. And I still kind of get giddy about it, even though it's like, why? You know what I mean? But it's still fun. Put it on in the background while you're doing whatever bullshit.
Well, like none of the guys are playing. I'm reading the roster
Yeah.
right now. What's going on? Everyone's just like everyone's sitting out. Like Vlad's not going,
Oh.
Judge is not going, Byron Buxton's not going.
Well, Judge is hurt.
Oh.
I know that
He's
Oh.
Also,
still hurt?
because he's on
I
my
think
fantasy
Buxton is
team. Yeah.
hurt also.
Dude, they're all hurt. What is going on?
Just send the rest of our team. Well, then again, also maybe don't send some of our team
And Shohei's
because
not playing.
sometimes it can be like I feel like I try not to believe in curses, but I sometimes believe in curses, and I feel like sometimes people slump after it, so you want to be careful, you know?
I've heard that
No,
with the home run derby for sure.
I'm glad you
Yeah.
brought that up because after the first weekend of the season, I was like, Chase DeLauder is going to be in the home run derby. But like, I don't want Chase DeLauder in the home run derby because I don't know if he can withstand that. And then him slumping and getting hurt kind of shot that in the foot a little bit. And then he
Yeah.
came back and now he looks like he belongs in the home run derby again,
Hmm.
but it's too late. And this really worked out to be the best case scenario for us, I think. Hate to say it.
Right.
Hate it for his
Even
rib
still,
cage, but
I would rather have Chase DeLauder rest and relax and not overdo anything.
100% agree.
Well, you know
Yeah.
who is in the home run derby is Murakami, and he's on the White Sox, and
I love that
if
for
Oh,
them. Good for them.
yeah,
yeah, good luck with that.
yeah.
I hope your swing mechanics stay normal and very good, sir. And that's the thing is Chase the Lauder, like nobody needs to be seeing that swing on a national broadcast.
That's true.
It's just really like I watched his home run from today and like he had one over the weekend and I remember sending it to a group chat and being like, "What the hell is this swing? Like what is he doing?"
I hope he never changes. It's great.
I love it. And I was listening to the broadcast which actually had former Guardians or slash Indians legend Jason Kipnis on it because Hammy took the weekend off. And it was actually really interesting like he was talking about how he swings and the way that he like turns his body mechanically and he was like I've never really seen anyone swing like that but yeah, it was I'm just not a player and I'm not that well versed in the mechanics of hitting but Chase DeLauder like even I can tell him like that looks crazy. Same with like John Kenzie Noel, he had a crazy stance where
Oh
his like
man,
whole
yeah.
ass would face the pitcher and it's just like what is
Yeah,
going
yeah,
on.
and I remember he like brought the bat down to like almost
Mm-hmm.
like at his chest. It was so weird. But
Yeah,
yeah,
but like
I really want
Chase
someone
just
to do a
chops
deep
it.
dive on Chase's mechanics. It's so fascinating.
I bet there is one, but if we get further like into the playoffs, I bet there will be like more spotlight on it because it's definitely one of the more interesting ones I've seen. And he seems to have it, he seems to be figuring out. I think today was, or yesterday was his second home run off of a lefty, which he had previously like had 9 home runs all against righties. And he just recently got his first against a lefty and then again this weekend. So it seems like he's settling down and figuring it out. So, and same with like, I don't know, same with Bazana. Like I don't have a ton to say about him in terms of like fielding and how I feel about him at second. Because I think in the Minnesota series he had some issues where we lost the game because there were a couple of errors. I actually couldn't watch that game where we had a lot of errors because I was busy, but I remember seeing it, I was like, what the fuck happened in this game?
Yeah, admittedly, I really didn't watch much of the Twin series,
It
but
was too painful. I just could not believe what I was watching.
Yeah.
yeah, when it comes to Baz though, like yeah, there's a lot of room for improvement defensively. So I really hope that it just comes with more experience, maybe.
Well, and he's not the kind of guy, I don't know him personally, but he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that is okay with being below average. And I'm not saying that he's 100% gonna solve all of his problems, but there's no way he's not going to try. And he's a rookie, and I do think there were some calls to move him to left field after what we've seen the past few weeks. I'm not there at all. I just don't like I trust that guy to work hard and figure it out. And if he tries and he puts in the reps and it still doesn't get any better, then maybe we talk about moving him, but give him an off season, I think. And I think you see some of this start to improve because he just isn't the type of guy that is okay with being that bad, to be honest.
I agree 100%. After reading that
Mhm.
article about him from Meisel's article from The Athletic, he definitely has the mindset and he has the attitude to want to constantly improve. And I think you're absolutely right saying that he will not be comfortable, being below average in any metric. And yeah, I think we'll definitely see a big increase in his fielding and his defense next year. Like I'm almost sure of it. Because like I
I
really am not that concerned because I know he has the drive. I know he's determined to get better at it. So like I do fully expect to make it for him to make a big leap next year defensively.
I need him to go to the Kyle Manzardo off-season school of improving defense.
No, but really, oh my God. I
Yeah.
remember
I
I remember how bad in spring training Manzardo was at first. I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be rough, man." And then when the
Well, and
season
remember the
started,
three
like
errors in one game last year? That was bad. But you can see it. There was a play the other day where he dove and made a stop, and that part was good. And then you could tell that he wanted to run towards the bag himself at first because he can, because he's been doing that a lot lately. And I think he's like, guess what I can do now, guys. But then you didn't, and you can see mid-run where he tosses the ball to the pitcher, and I forget which pitcher it was at the time. I wish I remembered. But it was the whole play was so like it was well executed. It was a hard play, and you could almost see on Manzardo's face that like he knew he was athletic enough to make a play, but had the mental awareness to make the smarter one. And it was a really cool moment, especially for a guy who's struggling offensively. I'm happy that he has that part going for him, and I want to give him credit for the improvements that he's made there because his defense has been either a non-issue or it's been a positive, and so I'm just happy to see that from him.
I think one of the issues that I'm predicting slash worrying about in the second quote half of the season is I just don't feel the same way about the bullpen that I have. Like it feels like there's been a lot of new names and a lot of shifting around, and I don't really feel like as comfortable whenever I hear any name. Like if I hear like Festa or Armstrong or
I
like
hear
sometimes
Armstrong one more time.
yeah, I'm like
when I hear
I
Festa, I
like
shut off my
what is
TV.
I don't like what's actually happening right now. Like this is not happening to me.
I still get
Here,
nervous when Cade goes out. Like,
I remember last year at one point I thought Matt Festa is making all of these appearances because we need other guys to be healthy in October. Like we are letting him eat the bulk of the innings because he is not going to be on that postseason roster. I was wrong. And here I am this year feeling the same way about Armstrong. I'm like, this guy is pitching now because we need Daniel Espino to be intact in October. Um, and I was wrong last year. I hope I'm not wrong this year, but I agree with you. The bullpen is a little spooky.
I do think though that they're going to make moves come trade deadline, and I think they're probably going to address the bullpen first. At least
Mhm.
like that's what I would fucking do, but I don't know
Yeah,
what the hell their plan
absolutely.
is. But like I do think that they'll look for reinforcements come trade deadline. And I don't know who's available. I haven't really looked into that very much, but I'm sure that there's going to be several options for us. So that is something to look forward to as well, because I don't think we can continue with this current bullpen that we have. I think they need to make changes, and you can't really rely on Espino and like Alleman and these guys to kind of pick up the pieces. You know what I'm saying? So I do have hope that they'll reinforce their bullpen through trades.
And we have the pieces to do it. Like we've got a logjam at catcher almost. remember CJ Kafis? Like we have outfielders that can go. I don't know how you have to package them, maybe a higher prospect, but I think there are ways to do it, and I think you're right. I think the bullpen they need help.
I legitimately have not heard the name CJ Kafis in at least 2 months, maybe.
Well, you're gonna
Exactly.
I
hear it because he got
completely
injured
forgot about him.
today.
No, he did.
Oh
He
shit.
he
I'm
got
sorry,
injured.
CJ.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Oh
In the
no.
seventh inning, he left the game with a lower leg injury.
That's
I was
unfortunate.
I was
Hmm.
gonna say his name was a jump scare, but no.
I am curious, like,
Oh,
what do you guys think they'll do with Bo? Are they going to trade him?
I don't know.
Because
Maybe.
there's no way they can have three catchers on their roster if they were to promote him. Because, like, obviously Hedges is having a career season. Bailey's been doing very well, offensively and defensively.
Here's the
So it's
thing.
like
What's
I
gonna be
don't
do
know
with
what their
Engel?
plan is with him.
They've carried three catchers before, but one of them was David Fry, who is still
I
also
was like,
on
he
the
So
roster.
was.
right,
He's
so
still
technically
there.
four. Yeah, they
Is
would
he still
technically
a
have
catcher?
four.
I don't know the last time we've seen him catch. I don't
On
know
the
if they
40
call him a
man, I
catcher
think he's
anymore.
I don't think he's listed as that on the 40 man anymore from
Okay.
last I checked.
Whew.
I don't think. I'll have to double check that, but
I
last I
think
checked.
I think yes, because I think he'll be packaged with Quan or something.
Don't do that.
I
I don't like
he's
this.
I
Quan
don't.
has done well since moving him. He has a 306 batting average across the past 2 weeks with an 863 OPS. So I think if he continues when we get back to, look better, but still not, he's still not himself. I think that would probably be an interesting package to get somebody really good or needed. I'm not ready to let go. I'm not ready to let go
Are
of
we
him.
ready to debate this right now? Because I'm ready to debate
Well,
this.
Oh
I
Michaela's
boy.
think
not
we have
here,
to.
so
I think Quan is going nowhere. I think they learned the hard way when they traded they did not trade Josh Naylor. When they traded Aaron Savali mid-season and Josh Naylor was a little upset about it, I think that was their hard, like, trading guys, especially culture guys in season is a very big risk to take. And remember, they were kind of out of it that season, and I don't think they were that bad, but they were borderline and decided not to go for it. And they made that trade, and it blew up the locker room, and they had to do all this damage control, and the relationship with Josh Naylor was never the same after that. I don't think they trade a guy who is as important to the team culture, leadership, and lately even just on-field production as Quan is. I don't think they'll do that in the middle of the season. And if we are still in a place where we would make the playoffs, if we are near the lead of the division, having a wild card at all, I think you need to build a roster that has your best players on it. And Quan has started to turn things around lately. And I don't know who you put on the roster that replaces the production that you like to get from him and that you have gotten from him in the past few years and that he's shown promise of doing. So I do think I'll be really shocked. I'm ready for them to do it this off season. I really don't think they'll do it in season. Anyway, that's
So
my
I
spiel.
thought Stephen Kwan was going to be a free agent after this season, but apparently he is set to become a free agent after the 2027 season. So that also kind of changes my perspective on it too, because I thought they were for sure going to trade him this season, no matter how well or how poorly he performed. But considering the fact that we would still have one more year of Stephen Kwan under contract, yeah, now I'm kind of leaning towards the fact that they're not going to trade him, and which would be totally fine with me because I still think that he has a lot more in the bag, especially for this season. I mean, his resurgence has been crazy so far. I mean,
his defense.
he brought his average up to like I think 226 today, 224 or 226 after towing the Mendoza line like all season long. So he is riding a very big hot streak. And so I think even if he continues it or not, I do think that they will play it safe and they'll probably give him at least until maybe midway through next year. They'll probably reassess and then maybe make a decision then. But yeah, apparently he's not set to be a free agent until after the 2027 season. So that is something to
Mm-hmm.
take into consideration too.
Also,
His
if
defense.
if he keeps getting hotter with everything, they're gonna get more back. So if him slumping earlier this year,
Yeah.
it kind of makes no sense. But yeah, anyway, sorry.
Right. And
No,
like I thought
don't
it
be
was
sorry.
interesting too. I was talking about this with Michaela yesterday. It's interesting because historically with Stephen Kwan, he has a very good first half of the season and then he
Mhm.
has a rough second half of the season.
Yes.
So then this
Mm.
year it's flipped now. He had a very rough start to the season and now he's starting to find it. So I really hope that that means he's going to keep it up the latter half of the season. But yeah, we'll see. He's getting back to the player that we know he is. And that's
Mhm.
mainly like he's getting back on base and he's drawing walks because you can't expect him to he plays that very specific brand of baseball. He's a contact hitter and he gets on base. That's all we need from him offensively. And so that's
Mhm.
exactly what he's starting to do now. And yeah, if he can keep that up, then
Well, and if
I
you
think we'll be
go,
fine.
the Baseball Reference team stats page does this cool thing where they list out the top 12 players on the team by WAR, and Quan is eighth. So as bad as it's been offensively, what he brings to the
Hmm.
table defensively, and maybe the last 3 weeks have pushed him to be eighth on the team. And I know that's not great, and maybe you want him to be higher. Um, but he still brings so much to the table, and I think he's more important that we give him than we give him credit for.
Hmm.
And I will say, of the top 8 players, 3 of them are pitchers. So he is one, two, three, the
That's
fourth
interesting.
most important position player on
Yeah.
this team right now in terms of WAR. So I don't know. I'll be surprised if they move him
I'm going to
in
I
the middle of
piggyback
the
off
year.
that
yeah.
too. I'm going to piggyback off that because I know the one graphic that's been going around is that Stephen Kwan has one of the worst OPSs in
Oh
the league.
yeah, I
And
saw
like
that.
that's another thing too. You have to take that with a grain of salt because Stephen Kwan is never going to have a high slugging percentage.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yes, like we want him to have a good on base percentage, but he is not a power hitter. So like you can't hold him to the same metrics as you would like Aaron Judge or any of the big hitters. And so obviously he's going to have a lower OPS just in general. So whenever I see that graphic floating around, I'm just like, come on,
I'm
man. Like
not moved by that.
you have to know Stephen Kwan's brand of baseball. Like he is going to have a lower OPS than normal. That doesn't mean that he sucks. So like that pisses me off every time I see that and I have to clarify.
I think, I mean, his defense is, it's always good. Like, I want him to always be in the outfield because I just am, he's all reliable. Like, he's so dependable that I can deal with whatever issues he may be facing. I think moving him from leadoff has been an amazing decision. I think it meant, it was hard to come to that. And honestly, I think that he should just go about it just thinking he's never going to go back to leadoff. Like just let that part of your career go for now and fit in where you can. Because honestly, like putting Bazana at leadoff is just it just feels so right to me. Like it's just I don't know. He's become like even more dependable of like getting walks and just like finding ways to get on base. And I think when you're younger, leadoff is just a really good place to be. So I don't know. I think if he maybe he already has let that go, but and I know he's already got his lashes for this, but like Cooper Ingle throwing that ball into the stands from left field was like that would never happen if it was Quan. I like it just that was so beyond painful.
Yeah,
Like
like I want Quan playing defense. I
yeah.
want him playing defense in the postseason.
Yeah,
So
like I need somebody in the outfield who's going to be dependable for the outfield assist and also is not going to throw a live ball into the stands. I love you, Cooper. Like I definitely thought I was really pissed at the time, but now I think it is really funny that you did that.
And we also have Angel Martinez coming back too. So even though like Baz is struggling a little bit now, especially in leadoff, that doesn't mean you have to move Quan back up there because when Angel comes back, they're
Yeah.
probably going to maybe switch off him and Baz in leadoff, is at least what I'm projecting. But yeah, and he's another left fielder too. So they are going to have an interesting I don't want to say an interesting conundrum with that, but because I don't know, I'm struggling to remember like what they did because it feels like it was so long ago that
What
Angel
it
was
was
healthy
before.
before the death game. Yeah.
Well, it
So I
was
don't know, like
definitely
it.
Angel and Chase and Jose were one, two, three.
Hmm.
Because
And
they
Baz was like 5 or 6, I think.
Yeah,
They hit him lead off a couple times before the death game because I remember with the first day that it happened, we were all like, "Oh my God, they did it." Um, but I don't recall how often that happened.
let me
Yeah,
see.
I'll be curious to see just
I kind of
how
really
they tackle
like
that.
Baz there all the time. Like, I don't mind the top four that they've been rolling. The top four that we could have. If you're giving me Baz, Rocchio behind him, Chase third, or Jose third, Chase fourth, give me that. Move Manzardo down, slot Angel somewhere in there,
Hmm.
leave Quan ninth, and then one of our catchers has to be hitting eighth, and then whoever else you plug and play that day seventh. I think that's a really nice lineup. Like
I would like
our
Angel
offense
at six, yeah.
hasn't been good, but I really like that lineup.
I agree. That actually sounds really nice. I like Angel in the sixth hole. And then if Baz really does continue to struggle in the leadoff spot, like God forbid if he starts to fall off a little bit, then at least like they have options. Obviously, I wouldn't
Yeah, and
want
I
them
don't
to
think
move
you
Baz too much because he's starting to get comfortable in that spot now, but if that need were to arise, then at least like we would have options.
Yeah, I don't think that you need to. I don't want to bank on Quan just fully reversing his normal splits and like maintaining this, but he's always there as an option to lead off too. Like
Hmm.
I don't think he needs to look at it as I am the leadoff hitter and I just have to earn my job back. Like I don't think that's the right mindset. I think he needs to be content wherever they put him, but I think he still remains an option if Baz really does continue. He's been slumping a little. If he continues to slump, that's Quan is still there and
It was
he's looking
Angel,
a lot better.
Jose, and Chase. Jose was in the two hole. Then Reese Hoskins, David Fry, Travis at six, Fairchild, Hedges, and Rocchio.
I don't want to hear that ever again, to be honest.
And
Forgot about
then
hearing
I've
like
heard
that.
enough.
Saturday, like just this past Saturday, it was Bazana, Rocchio, Chase, Manzo, Watson, Arias, Halpin, Bailey,
No,
Kwan.
I'm actually really happy to hear you. I don't know when we're going to be ready to get into giving the team a grade. But
Oh
I was
yeah.
looking at some offensive stats in order to prepare to be able to do that, and they are so bad. And I'm happy to hear you read that lineup back to me because I'm watching these last three games in Miami thinking, We're not that bad. Like, look at the guys in this roster. Look at what they've been
Nobody
doing.
understands.
How are we that bad? And then you read that roster back to me, and I'm like, oh yeah, like that lineup. That's
Rocchio
what
is
we
in the
were
two
doing.
hole,
I don't mind Rocchio in the two. That's
but I
fine.
thought he liked being nine. I kind of thought that they were
Hmm.
just never going to take him
No,
out of that because
I
he's like,
agreed, but
that's where
then
I
I
the
think
hit.
it's just
game
because of
of
the
death
injury.
happened, and then we
Yeah.
just had to figure it the fuck
Oh, I
out.
kind of thought he just
Yeah,
was like sticking
no,
through there the whole time.
No,
no.
he said he liked nine, and then the death game happened, and then after that
Mm,
he t talked to him in like another interview. He's like, "I'll do whatever they tell me to do,"
okay. I
or
guess I didn't
something.
really
And that's
take
the
note of
mindset you
that.
need.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's
I
why
mean,
we
it's
love Rook.
worked out for him.
Well, and
He's
unfortunately, when you're a very good hitter, you have to hit higher in the lineup, Brian. So you should have thought about that.
maybe you should start sucking again. Yeah,
Don't,
that
no,
I'm
don't. But it's
Please
fine.
don't.
we're getting towards the end, so I definitely want Sarah to start this segment for us so we can really get into the meat of it.
Yeah, so I was really just curious to kind of go around here and ask what you guys would grade the team so far at this midway point of the season, like a letter grade. Yeah, I'll start. Considering we just talked about how horrible our offense is, I'm probably going to bring mine down a little bit. Originally, I had them as a B plus. Now I'm going to grade them a solid B just because of that offense. I mean, obviously, our offense has ebbed and flowed so much this season. I mean, even with a healthy roster. Um, but since that death game, I mean, if you look like we're bottom five in
29th
almost every
overall.
statistical category, bottom three in
Yup.
almost every statistical
Yup.
category, which is not good. But like also we're seeing hot and cold streaks with so many guys like Manzardo, Arias, Schneemann. So if they can just find some consistency, that's pretty much all they need. And especially with Jose and Angel coming back, like I'm not too worried about that. But yeah, our offense has statistically been abysmal. Um, but then the bright spots though, our starting pitching so far has been super reliable. I have been very proud of everyone. Bybee is hot right now. Cantillo has been hot right now. Parker's been having a great season from start to finish. Gavin has been a little shaky, but he just had that monster game his last start. And I think now we're starting to see a couple of them go a little bit deeper into games, which will hopefully fix a little bit of the bullpen issue, which we already talked about. But
And
yeah, if
Slade.
I had to give them, I'll be yeah, and Slade too.
No, I
He's been
just
pretty
I'm like
good. I mean,
he's all right.
yeah, I mean he had that stretch where he was not pitching very well, but then it was after we acquired Bailey, he really started kicking it back into gear. So he's been great ever since we got Bailey. But yeah, I would give them probably a solid B.
I was
I don't hate
thinking
that.
I'm doing B minus was what I thought all day when I was thinking about it. It's just like the offense, that's the thing is like it doesn't seem like anyone's really doing that super great at offense. Like we are over 500 against everyone that we've played, and if I'm just looking at the games, like I don't know, there's been like crazy blowouts of other teams. I've seen like 23-2 and 14-2 and stuff. Like the Pittsburgh just blew the Brewers out today, I think. It's like they the offense really sucks shit, but they figure it out like a lot of the times when it matters with like the whole guards ball thing. And it's like I can get past that, but it's really just like the bullpen is just really bringing me down. I just don't have that same feeling of like 2024 and stuff where it was like, huh, we have like a 1-2 run lead. Finally, I can sit back and relax for the last 3 innings of the game. It's
I
like
think
we're
about our 2024 bullpen at least twice a day.
yeah, like we
Yeah.
lose. I'm not used to like losing the lead late once we get it. And I've had to kind of let that go. I'm still having trouble with it because it is just like because our offense isn't good. I'm not even gonna, sugarcoat it like it sucks. You need the bullpen and the pitching to really pull that back together. And like you said, the starting pitching has been more reliable. Like at the beginning of the year, Tanner could go away forever as far as I care. And Slade was really pissing me off. But like now it's like, okay, if the starting pitching can start to like rein it in, maybe there's something going on in the pitching world with Carl and stuff, and maybe the bullpen is kind of gonna lag behind that and figure it out. If the starting pitching's doing well, maybe the bullpen will feel a little bit better. And as the offense gets better with our boys returning, I think maybe the bullpen will have the opportunity to have some pressure taken off. I know that they've been like really overused. Like I think it was was it one of the White Sox games where it's like we literally did not have anybody left. Like everybody was gassed. So I feel for them on that front of like our starting pitching doesn't go super deep all the time. And that's been a story for many years now that we don't really get 6 or 7 out of our starters. But I'm really hoping that they can have a come to Jesus moment and figure it out for the second half. So B minus for me.
Yeah, I want to say for me, I've been hovering all day between a C plus and a B minus, so I'm kind of in the same boat here. We've been kind of, I don't know, like even before the game of death, I felt very positive to a point, but it's still like nerve-wracking. Again, the bullpen, same points you guys have already made, so I won't like expand on that much. But and then after the game of death, also how I explained earlier, like how kind of slumped, obviously, which we kind of figured would probably happen, and then improved. And I'm go mostly going off of vibes here, but it just feels like instead of like stats and everything, because I didn't look into those honestly, but like I don't know, it just feels like there's still something there. And it feels like there's a possibility and a chance for everything, but also like I'm nervous about the little things, like the bullpen. Like I don't like that every time that Tanner Bybee starts, I feel both a pit in my stomach, but also excited because I'm like, I don't know if he's gonna get
First.
run support. Yeah, there's like something cursed with the way he like with him pitching, and it's like I know that you're good, like, but what's going on here? Like, there's so many little things that are both making me very excited, but also like nervous. So I'm sitting squarely in like between B minus C plus. So yeah.
I, as soon as you sent this out in the chat where we were planning this episode, I was like, I'm all over the place on where to go because if you look at everything statistically, it's bad, right? Like they should get probably a D. Like if you're only looking at the numbers compared to where they were last year, like you're still 29th. You're still close to being dead last offensively, and that's really awful. I didn't break down the pitching starters versus bullpen, but the MLB just basic stats page has the pitching staff as the eighth best in the MLB, which to me is lower than I think it should be, especially knowing what we've come to expect from this team. If you're going to be 29th, if you're going to be bottom two, bottom three in terms of offense, you need to be top three in pitching. And I know that this organization is capable of being that. And so, based on those statistics only, I'm ready to give them like a low C or a D. But if you tell me that we are going to open the season with a stretch where we play Seattle and the Dodgers and the Cubs back to back, and we come out of that with a winning record, um, that we are going to have to survive 4 to 6 weeks without Jose Ramirez and without Chase DeLauter for some of that time, and without Angel Martinez, who turns out to be one of our more important players. And then we're going to come out of that and we're still going to be in first place in the division after all of that. I'm starting to think A plus. Like, how do you survive that? And so I think that this team has been so all over the place. I want to give the front office credit. I think the Bailey trade was a more aggressive move given the time in this season than they normally do. They've
Hmm.
been really aggressive with their prospects, so I want to give them good grades on the way they've built the roster, because they're acting like a team that wants to win. And so I really don't know where to land on this because it's so all over the place. And I feel like they're in such a good spot right now that I'm leaning on B plus, that I personally might round up to an A minus because I'm a nice professor. Because I feel
You're
so
grading on a
good.
bell curve.
Yeah, I feel so good about what this team could be moving forward after the All-Star break. If you can kind of figure out some of the question marks in the bullpen, you do have some depth there. And I think you have what you need to acquire another arm. The pitching scares me because I think our guys have been so good, but there's just no way we make it through a season with five. That'd be so awesome and so cool. I just don't believe in it. But I think the vibes, and I think sweeping Miami went a long way. I think if we lose the game today, maybe I feel a little differently. But the
Hmm.
vibes are so good going into this break. I think there is a lineup out there to be constructed that can do much better offensively than what we've seen. And I think the vibes are just high right now. So I'm giving them a high grade because as ugly as the numbers have been, I think there's another story there. Like there's just something about it. They're overperforming their stats a lot and they look like they want to win and they believe in themselves and that's what matters. I think we could have a really good second half.
To win the last four before the break, it definitely, you know, gives a better feeling. So it's like, I'm glad that it seems like they followed the normal trajectory of, sucking after you lose your best players and finding a home and a place in that to end the stretch. Well, for now, I know they're not coming back as soon as we get back, but to really grind it out. And you came in under 500, but you weren't massacred. We still have not been swept since the Yankees series. Like I expected that we were going to probably have a harder time. So to not get swept at any point during that stretch and to just keep chugging along and trying new things and hitting wherever, playing wherever, to really like show your teammates and the fans that you're willing to put your body out there to keep things normal. I really do respect them for that. And I really look forward to the next half. I think the strength of schedule is actually a little bit better because we played so many good teams to start. But even if it's difficult, like we're not the Mets. The Mets are literally like 17 games under 500. Like there's just no hope. And I don't even know what the Royals are doing. They're not doing well either. So it's like I'm happy to still be, you know, happily
We're
mid.
still
I'm
competitive after
happily mid right
everything.
now. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I think winning the last four was a good momentum boost and a good
Hmm.
morale boost too going into this break. And like I said, we've kept it competitive ever since that death game. And I think we have been I think we set ourselves up for a great second half of the season. I think we have our work cut out for us in terms of what we need, aka bullpen. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they address those needs. And yeah, if we can just keep this up, then we should be okay. But yeah, there's still a lot of question marks. There's still a lot left to be desired this latter half of the season, but we'll see.
Well, Tarek Skubal, he's going to be a guardian
Right.
at the after the
I'm so
deadline.
sure. I'm so sure.
So
Absolutely.
I'm not worried at all because I know he's going to come home. He
We
wants
have
to
our
be here.
sixth man in our six-man rotation. It's going to be Tarek
Hell
Skubal.
yeah.
That is
He and
actually
his buddy
that
friend.
did scare me a bit is that I think Detroit has been really flying under the radar. Like this, I want to make this one last point before we finish up. Like my friend is a Detroit Tigers fan, and he was like texting me, and he was like, "We're only 5 games back." I was like, "Ugh," I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And it was actually like I had to go and kind of look at the standings, and I was like, "Holy shit!" Like they're 6.5 back now. But it's same with the Twins. I was like, "Wait a minute,
Right,
what's
that's why I'm
going
a little bit
on?"
more worried about the
I know
Twins
that's
than
why
I
the
was about the
Minnesota
White
series,
Sox.
like, it's like, oh, dude, like, they're not even good. I know playing, like, in your own league, like, in the AL Central, like, these teams know each other a lot better. And I think I said that in the episode before the series, that my prediction, I was like, with the White Sox, I was like, oh, we're not gonna lose, more than one to the White Sox. Like, I think we're gonna win the series. And then I think we ended up winning only one of the games. So,
You split it.
it's, I will take that with a grain of salt, but it definitely is starting to get a little bit tighter in the AL Central. I'm hoping that Jose can feel that in his stomach and he's going to come back kind of with a fury.
We did set a precedent last year. I can't say the word. You get what I'm saying? Coming back from 15 and a half.
Yeah, I'm like 6.5. That's a lot of games. You got a lot of
Yeah,
work to do. And then I remember, I'm like, oh,
exactly.
Yeah, no, it's
no mountain
that's the
cannot be
fun part about
climbed.
the AL Central is that it is always a ride to the end. Even if it is because everybody is mid, it still is really exciting. I mean, hell, the Royals are 13 back. Maybe they're just resting and relaxing, and then they're planning the big comeback.
Right.
Definitely their game plan from
Yeah.
day one.
I don't know.
Exactly how they
Bobby
drew it
Witt,
up.
yeah, maybe Bobby
Yeah.
Witt's been beefing up.
He's
He's been
spearheading.
bulking, and now he's going to be
Listen, guys,
cutting.
Cleveland came back from 15 and a half last season.
Yeah,
Well, we're going to come back from 16.
exactly. Yeah, you can never count anyone out. Well, all right. I think, ladies, that is it for this episode. Thank you so much for joining me today on a special episode where we do not have Meg mediating and controlling and keeping us all on the positive trail. But be sure to follow us on your favorite podcasting app and all of our social channels so you do not miss a thing. And as always, whether you're here for hot takes, heartbreaks, or home runs, don't get caught looking. Go Guards.
Go Guards.
Go
Go
Guards.
guards.
Kyle
At least we're
Manzardo,
not the
please
Mets.
lock in. Please. I'm begging you.